Olá, pessoal, tudo bem? Eu sou a Jéssica, coordenadora pedagógica no Centro Britânico. Hoje eu vou falar um pouquinho sobre quem sou eu, né? Para quem não assistiu o aulão do Phrasal Verbs, vou me apresentar novamente e só explicar algumas coisinhas para quem não estava no aulão, tá? Então, como eu falei, o meu nome é Jéssica, eu sou coordenadora pedagógica no Centro Britânico. Eu comecei a trabalhar no Centro Britânico em 2018 como professora e no meio de 2019, mais ou menos, eu me tornei coordenadora pedagógica na unidade. Graças a Deus por isso. Eu trabalho na área de ensino desde 2014, né? Foi quando eu cheguei no Brasil. Eu sou sul-africana, nascida e criada lá, e vim para cá em 2013, mais ou menos no final do ano, e comecei a trabalhar em escolas de idiomas desde 2014. E aqui estou, tá? Para quem não sabe como vai funcionar o workshop hoje, né? A gente vai falar sobre escrever um e-mail em inglês, né? Formal. E a aula vai ser, o workshop, no caso, vai ser ministrado totalmente em inglês. Então, é para quem já tem conhecimento. E eu vou dar algumas dicas de como fazer um e-mail em inglês e quais são as frases-chave que são usadas normalmente, né? São mais simples, mas são usadas normalmente para você conseguir fazer um e-mail legal e saber como fica um e-mail, né, no mundo corporativo, tá bom? Então, vamos começar? Antes que eu esqueça, né, de comentar, durante o workshop, se vocês quiserem comentar, não tem problema, podem comentar à vontade. Vamos estar aqui respondendo todas as perguntas. Se vocês tiverem dúvidas, podem interagir e, de qualquer forma, vamos responder todos vocês até o final do workshop, tá bom? Então, let's start. Writing an email, okay? What should we include in a formal email? The layout of the email. What do you think, in your opinion, should be included in a formal email? If you'd like to comment, you guys can comment, but I'll be showing you what we actually need. So in an email layout, we have to include a subject line, yeah, which is the topic, as you can see here, number 1. Okay. We also have to include openers, which is the greetings. Okay. We need to have a body, which is where we include the purpose of the email. And lastly, we need to have a closing, which is how we end an email. Okay. So we need to have the 4 things that I mentioned here to have a good email: a beginning, a middle, and an ending. Okay. Basically, we start with the greeting, okay? So as you can see here, or it's also known as salutations, okay? In this area, in this part of the email, we need to have, we have 3 different characteristics here, basically. We have the formal relationship. So this is an email that is written between co-workers or clients. There is also an email for casual relationship. So maybe you know the person, it's a casual relationship. Or for example, if you are writing to an unknown reader, you don't know the person that is going to read your email. Okay, so these are 3 different situations where we can be writing emails, okay? In most situations, you should include a quick greeting to acknowledge the reader before driving into the purpose of the email. Why do I say this? Because imagine you're writing an email and you just start writing, okay, I would like to request blah, 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 blah. You're just jumping to the topic and it sounds very rude. So when we have a greeting, this is to introduce the topic. You know, you're warming up the email. So you usually start with a greeting, okay? So it's very rude to just type an email and just start saying what you need or what you want or the reason for writing the email. We recommend that you have to greet the person. In some cases, like when we write friendly emails, we say, how are you? I hope things are well. So we usually ask the reader how they are doing. In this case, it's a bit different, okay? As you can see here, when we greet in a formal relationship, as you can see, when it's a coworker, we usually say dear, and then the person's name. So dear Jessica, dear Fabio, or hi Jessica, hi Fabio, or hello Jessica, hello Fabio, okay? If it's a client, we can use dear. So we can say dear Mr. or Mrs. or Miss or Ms. Jessica or Mr. Fabio. Or we can also say dear and then the person's name. So dear Jessica or dear Fabio. Okay, so these are two alternatives that we can use when we are writing to a client. Okay, all of them are correct. Guys, there are many other ways that you can do this, but in my workshop, I'm giving you some ideas. It's not all of them, okay? It's the most common ones that are used, but there are much more. If you guys research, you will find more options, okay? In the previous slide, I said that there is also a casual relationship. So in a casual relationship, we have four options. We can say hi Fabio, hey Fabio, hello Fabio, or hi there. Okay, so we have four ways of starting the greeting. All right. When we're talking to an unknown reader, it's usually we usually use the sentence to whom it may concern, which is the most common one, because we don't know who we're writing to. So whoever it is supposed to go to is going to get it. And that's why we use the term to whom it may concern. A simpler way to say this is greetings, or you can just say dear sir or madam. So you don't know if it's a male or a male or a female that's receiving the email. So we usually add both of them so that it can address either one of them. Okay. Here's a question. How shouldn't we greet someone in an informal email? So what do you think, in your opinion, we shouldn't do? One of the things that we shouldn't include in an email. Do you guys have any ideas? If you do, type in the chat box, leave your comments, and we'll check if you're correct. Here I put two options. So something that we should never do, like really like never do, is misspell the person's name. I mean, imagine you're receiving an email and your name is wrong. I mean, you feel less important, or you feel like that email isn't for you. Okay, so be very careful. Be very careful when you writing an email to someone and you include their name. Make sure that the spelling is correct and that the name is correct. Okay, and also we shouldn't use nicknames. So you shouldn't say hi Jess or hi Nee. We should address the person directly to their official name, because we don't have intimacy with the person. You're writing a formal email, so you need to be very formal. Okay, and when you use a nickname, it isn't formal. It sounds like you know the person or you have some kind of closer relationship. Okay, it's not that professional, let's say. The second thing that we need to include is after the greeting. So we've said hello, we've said dear, we've directed the email to someone. We need to now thank the person. Okay, so we call this a thank the receipt. Okay, the recipient, sorry. In this case, it can either be reply to a client question. So maybe you're replying to the customer for something, or replying to one of your emails. Okay, so maybe you're replying and you're gonna thank the person for something. All right. So there are two options here, like I mentioned. So the first one, if you're thanking the client, if you're replying to the client's question, you can say, thank you for contacting ABC company, for example. Okay, so thank you for contacting ABC company. If you're replying to one of your emails and it's not literally that you're not thanking in the name of the company, but it's your email, but it's a formal email, you can say thank you for your prompt reply, or thank you or thanks for getting back at me. Okay, these are the two most commonly used ones. But guys, remember, like I said, there are many other ways of thanking. Okay, so I give you some ideas here, because imagine if I give you a list of expressions, it can be very confusing. So I'm giving you guys basic tips here. The third step would be the purpose. Okay, so every email needs to have a purpose, right? So in this case, the purpose of your email is always the body. It's the meat. That's what we call it, the meat of your message. So it must be clear, okay? Remember that it needs to be clear and have specific, it needs to have a specific purpose, okay? Because if there is no specific purpose, it becomes a useless email. So it needs to have a specific purpose, okay? It should be concise, all right? That way people will be more inclined to read it. If possible, boil it down to a few choice sentences. When I say a few choice sentences, choose the best sentences that go directly to the point of your email, okay? For emails that request more length and details, keep it as focused as possible. So sometimes we have to write a long email because it's not possible to make it short depending on the situation. In these cases, we need to keep it as short as possible. So reduce whatever you can, cut out what's not necessary, and go straight to the point and keep it as, like I said, concise as possible, okay? Here I write in my quotes here, nobody wants to read a novel. Because I mean, you're reading an email. You don't want to read a book. You're not reading a newspaper article. You're reading an email. So you need to keep it as short as possible, because usually people look through their emails quickly. I mean, our daily routine is it's so busy that we don't really have time to sit and read things in detail. So it needs to be straight to the point, okay? Otherwise, the person might miss information and not get the point of your email, and it's just going to be frustrating, okay? I recommend that you keep it between 3 to 4 or 5 lines of text, if possible. Guys, sometimes it might pass, okay? It might pass the amount of like 5 lines. Okay, it happens. But as long as your email is directly to the point and it's not filled with unnecessary information, okay? Here I give you some clues, right? So it needs to be, your body needs to be in the beginning of the email. It's not the ending of the email. It needs to be short sentences. It needs to be clear and direct and have direct sentences, okay? So keep these 3 things in mind so that you have a good purpose in your email, okay? These are 2 sentences that we can start when we're going to present the purpose of our email, okay? So the first option is, I'm writing to inquire about, or I'm writing in reference to, okay? Guys, like I said, there are many other ways to do this. These are the 2 most simplest ways of being professional or formal and getting straight to the point of your email, okay? After we've included the body, the body, remember, is where you're going to detail everything and explain the reason you're writing the email, okay? You finished writing that, you need your closing remarks, okay? So when do we write closing remarks? It's just before ending the email. So it's not the end, it's before the end, okay? It needs to be short and objective, okay? So as you can see here, before ending your email, it's polite. So it's polite, guys. What do I mean by polite? It's good manners to thank the reader one more time and to add closing remarks, okay? So we're being mannered, we're being well mannered, okay? And thanking the person for reading our email, okay? Here you can use these types of sentences. Thank you for your patience and cooperation, okay? Thank you for your consideration. And maybe if it's just a follow-up, yeah? If we want to follow up this one of the two sentences above, we can say, if you have any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to let me know. Or I look forward to hearing from you. Okay, so usually we use one of each, okay? One from the first two and one from the second two, okay? Just to follow up what you said in the first sentence, all right? Like I said, it's a polite way of trying to end your email, okay? It's not the ending yet. The ending of the email is actually here, where we have a closing. What is a closing, okay? So it's one or two words long, and it's the last step of your email, okay? So finally, the last step before sending your email. Use an appropriate closing followed by your name, okay? So in this section, it's very important that you end your email. We've already pre-ended, let's say, with our closing remarks, which is a polite way, and it's a sentence. In this case, you're not writing a sentence. You're writing one or two words to show that your email is finished, okay? Here we can usually use one of these options. Best regards, sincerely, thank you, kind regards, warm wishes, with gratitude, many thanks, respectfully, okay? Besides these words that I've mentioned, can you think of any examples that we should avoid using in an email? How shouldn't we end the email? What one or two words shouldn't we end a formal email? If you guys have any ideas, type in the chat, comment, so we can see if you guys are correct. Over here, I chose some examples, which is ways that we shouldn't end an email, okay? I'm talking of a formal email here. So your friend, how can you refer to a formal email and end with your friend? You guys are not friends. So you guys are either business partners or customer and clients. So you guys need to have that formal respect, and your friend is not included in this section, right? Cheers. I mean, cheers we usually use when we're saying goodbye, but I mean, maybe in a bar or at a party, or it's an informal situation, we use cheers, not in a formal situation. And I mean, peace. Think about peace, like peace, yeah? It's very weird to say peace, you know? So I wouldn't use peace in any situation at work. Thanks a bunch as well. It's not a very formal situation. I'm sorry, not situation, sentence. It's not a formal sentence. So I wouldn't use thanks a bunch either. Chat soon. It's also not a very nice way to end your email. And yours truly, okay? So usually these ones, I've added 6 here, 6 examples, but these ones we can use in informal situations with your friends, with your family, someone that you know, but not someone that you're working with, okay? Let's see. Here I've given you guys an example of how a formal email should actually look, okay? So as you can see here, let me put in yellow so you guys can see better. We always have a subject line, okay? I didn't mention the subject line before because usually this is where you type what the email is about, okay? So you usually type what the email about, what the email is about. In this case, it's about UX research contract opportunity. So it's a job opportunity, and this is where you keep it very simple, okay? And directly what the actual email is about. So when the person sees the subject line, they already have an idea of what the email is about, okay? We spoke about the following topics here. So greeting, that's the first thing we need to have. So hello, Mr. Amaral. The second thing we need to have is we need to thank the person, right? So thank you for the prompt reply. That was one of the examples that we saw in one of the previous slides, okay? We also have to have the body. Remember I said that the body is the meat of the email. It's the biggest part of the email and the most important part of the email, because in this section, this is where we're going to include everything in detail. Okay, so let's read the example here. I hope this message finds you well. I'm writing in reference to an application redesign project here at ABC company, and seeking a skilled UX research contractor to help analyze several sets of abilities testing data. This is a 3-month project beginning May 1st, and we estimate it will take roughly 15 hours per week. All work can be completed remotely, but you're welcome to use our workspace. So as you can see here, they've given the most important details about the job. We know that it's a person that needs to test data. It's going to take about 3 months. It starts on the 1st of May. It's going to take about 15 hours per week, and the person can work from home or they can go to the place and work there, okay? So we know exactly what it is. And we also know the name of the company, ABC Company, okay? We know also what they need. They are looking for someone to help analyze several sets of usability testing data, okay? So you can see that there is everything we need to know that is important in the body of the email, okay? No unnecessary comments, no unnecessary sentences, directly to the point. We also have closing remarks. Remember I said that closing remarks is the part where we are politely thanking the person for reading, okay? So as you can see here, please let me know if you're interested in this project, and we can set up some time to discuss the details further. I look forward to hearing from you, okay? So you're thanking the person and saying that you want to hear from the person. You look forward to hearing from the person again, right? Over here, the last stage of our email is closing and signature. When I say signature, I don't mean a physical signature where you actually sign an email, but usually today, at least with technology, we have a digital signature, which would be the person's name typed in the email, sometimes the company symbol, the telephone number, these kind of things, the company logo, sorry. So in this case, this is where we would include this. I've given you a simple example here. I can end my email sincerely, Jessica Mayton Martins. And then here, this is where the signature, when I say signature, it would be your name, okay, and the company that you're working for. Some places add telephone number, email, not email address, website address. So they add some things at the bottom of the email, which is also okay. In this case, I've kept it short and sweet. Okay, so like I said, just to recap here, let me use red. We need a subject line. We need greetings. We need a thank you. We need to thank the recipient, right? We need a body, which is the meat. We need closing remarks, which is a polite way of just before ending your email. And we also need a formal closing with a signature, which would be the name and the company name and so forth. Okay? Finally here, what should I do after all of these steps? So you've checked your greeting, you've got a greeting, like I said in the previous slide here. You have a subject line, a greeting, you've thanked the person for the reply, you have a body, you have a closing remark, you've also closed your email, and you've put your signature, okay? What should you do after all of this? Any ideas? It's very important that you know what to do after you've done all of that. Basically, before you hit the send button, okay, review and spell check your email one more time to make sure it's truly perfect, okay? Why do I say this? Because a formal email with type errors, with spelling mistakes, with grammar mistakes, it's horrible to read something like that. It sounds so unprofessional and it makes the email look unqualified, okay? So double check your email, especially when you're writing in a foreign language. It's not a language that you're used to using maybe, but even in your proper language, it's important to review your email just to make sure that everything is okay. Okay, and sometimes we read so quickly that we swallow the mistake and we don't even see the mistake. Okay, so always double check if everything is okay before you hit the send button. Okay, guys. And that's it for today. Okay, I hope you guys like the tips. I'm going to provide the email that I've used, the example in the slide. I'm going to provide it for you guys to have access so you can see how to structure your email. I hope that the tips I've shared with you help and that you guys manage to to write an email in future cases using these tips and try to use these expressions, okay? Well, that's it for today. I hope you liked it. Please leave your comments below. Send us emails if you want. Go to our page, Centro Britânico Santana. And if you're interested, give us a call and we can help you with further information, okay? See you guys soon. Bye-bye.